Welcome to my channel, INTJ Island. Today I'm going to present a discussion showing an INTJ massaging an idea. Once again, we will be visiting the planet Attis that I created for my novel Reloading the Colts. The setting is about 2 decades after the closing of that book. The Kurtzens were sitting around a table in their dining room, enjoying some hot cocoa. Curtis, an ENTJ with jet black hair, sat beside Melanie, an ISTP redhead. Across the table from Curtis was Angela, a honey blonde ESFP. Sitting next to Angela, across the table from Melanie, was Stacy, a petite, sandy blonde INTJ. Jennifer was keeping an eye on the kids, who were finally in bed in her dorm after a very busy day. The walls were strung with Christmas lights, and a well-decorated tree was standing in the corner. On the other side of the room was a full-size Santa Claus figure. The women wore long red dresses with white furry trim, and Curtis was in a Santa suit, minus the snowy white beard. Today was absolutely wonderful, Angela said. She smiled and took a sip of her drink. Can an absolute exist? Melanie asked. There was a twinkle in her eye. Curtis studied Stacy. He was watching to see if she would take the bait. Seriously, Angela said. Who cares? I'm not sure absolutes exist, Stacy said. What? Curtis asked playfully. If you say absolutes don't exist, that is a self-defeating absolute. Hey, Santa, Angela called out. Do absolutes exist? The Santa figure, which had been unmoving until now, came to life, and he replied, Merry Christmas. Melanie laughed, and she asked, I wonder if that is his idea of an absolute. Exclusion of an idea doesn't necessarily demand the inclusion of its opposite, Stacy said. Her face was a study in concentration. Didn't I learn in school that A and not A can't both be true at the same time? Angela asked. That's right, Curtis said. And that's an absolute. He pointed at Stacy for emphasis. But it assumes something, doesn't it? Stacy asked. What? Melanie asked. It seems sound enough. First off, you must assume that the universe even exists, Stacy said. And what if A is a quantum particle? Is it A or not A? Come on, Stace, Curtis said. Get out of quantum physics and tell me whether or not Attis exists. You are sitting on a chair that is resting upon it. How do you know this to be true? Stacy asked. Knowledge, everything that we think we know, is always based upon assumptions, including this very assertion. Ha! Melanie said in celebration. That's an absolute. Gotcha. I wonder, Stacy said. What do you mean you wonder? Curtis demanded. We must assume that knowledge exists, Stacy said. If it doesn't truly exist, how can it be based upon assumptions? Come on, Stacy, Angela said. You're making my head explode. I know things, and that is knowledge. How do you know that what you claim that you know is absolutely true? Stacy asked. Uh-oh, Curtis said. I can see where this is going. I can touch things, Angela said. I can see you sitting there. I know you exist. This is a mess, Melanie said. Angie, what if all this, the entire universe, is inside your head? My head is inside the universe, Angela said. How can the universe be inside my head? And what about history? Things happened before I was even born. And you know this how? Stacy asked pointedly. Stace, Curtis said. You're saying that A represents the concept that all we view as the universe exists, and not A represents that it does not exist. And there is simply no way to know for sure which is true. Exactly, Stacy said. I exist, Angela said. I have to exist in order to assume anything at all. So there. Define what you mean by I, Stacy said. It's an organ by which we can see, Curtis said happily. Stacy glared her disapproval at him and turned back to wait for Angela's answer. What do you mean? Angela asked in confusion. I is me, of course. When you say I exist, Stacy said, what do you know for sure about who or what you are? You're a slippery fish, Stace, Curtis said. I'm sorry, Stacy said. I don't mean to be. I'm just hesitant to take things for granted as being valid and true. Does this mean, Melanie said, that you at least agree that assumptions may be absolutely necessary? They may well be, Stacy said. I assume that they are, but that is not an airtight proof that they are. Stacy, you invest an incredible amount of time into reading and studying things, Curtis said. Surely you don't think that this is all for nothing, just a fabricated fantasy that you are living out. You don't truly doubt that we all exist inside this universe, and that it also exists. Here's another assumption for you, Stacy said. We have to assume what our senses tell us has legitimate value. What else do we have to go on? A massive amount of observable evidence is piled up in support of that assumption. In order for us to function in our world, we must start by assuming that reality in some form actually exists, and it more or less conforms to what our senses are telling us. That allows us to study and learn things that will help us to live better and more enjoyable lives. What else can we do? How can you live like that, Stacy? Angela asked in exasperation. I would die of a terminal headache if my brain did that to me. Stacy smiled. Okay, you little introvert, Melanie said. Now that you have muddied up the waters of existence and absolutes, how about a Christmas test of our existence on the ping pong table? I'll show you the reality of a good forehand slam. Stacy laughed and said, You're on. I enjoy playing around with ideas in this way. Have you found yourself in discussions like this? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please click like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you click on the bell, you will also receive notifications when I put up a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.